Hello, I'm Monickie Scott.
And this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us as we support and encourage women in their five-star living journey. Today, we get to shine the five-star spotlight on Senior Leadership and Development Consultant, Trisha Parsad.
Woohoo!
Hi.
Yay! Trisha has created programs for developing the leadership skills of executives that serve in management and director positions for some of the world's top companies and organizations. She is known for being interactive, collaborative, and motivational as a facilitator and speaker. Welcome to the Five Star Living Show, Trisha.
Thank you,
Yes.
ladies. It's so good to be here. Finally, it's been a minute. You've been asking. Finally, we get here. So thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome, Trisha. So, in a few moments, we'll talk more about your journey. But first, let's talk five-star. So,
Okay.
when you hear the words five-star living, what does that mean in your world?
Wow, that's a great question. Five-star living to me is really kind of the embodiment or the intersection of all things mind, body, spirit, and really feeling full, feeling like my life is full in a good way, that everything that I need, I have right now in this moment. And that I
Yes,
feel really
absolutely.
confident, yeah, confident as I move forward, that I am anchored per
Mm.
se.
Oh, anchored.
Yes,
Love it. And so, what would you say are some things that you do to bring balance to your life? Or how do
I
you know
love.
when you're off balance?
Oh, that's easy. I'm quite emotional. So as a result of that, I know because there'll be things stirring in me that's just not resonating or doing well. My joy feels decreased. And so for me, I have to get outdoors. That for me, nature
Mm.
is everything. Being in nature, being around the trees, the animals, going down to the beach, sitting in the sand, putting my feet in the sand, staring at the ocean, that recenters me and anchors me. That makes me feel calm, at peace, and it kind of refills, I would say, like, you know, how your gas tank gets empty, so you got to go get gas. That is my gas.
Oh,
Yep,
that sounds
that's my gas.
so wonderful.
Yes, it
Putting your
does.
Oh,
feet in the sand.
yes,
Yes.
That's the one thing I do
yes,
miss about living in California is the
Mhm.
beach.
yes.
I
I
wish
love it.
we had more of that.
And
I
as you
love it.
said it, I could hear the waves crashing. Yes.
Well,
Oh,
thank you so
Yes,
much for giving our
yes.
listeners a little insight on how you're living a five-star life. Now, let's talk a little bit about your journey. What
Okay.
exactly does a leadership development consultant do?
Do
Especially,
okay.
for some of the top companies that hire top talent, why do they need your services?
All right, fair enough. So I do both leadership development consulting and coaching. So I tend to work with executives, senior executives, and senior leaders in general. It's funny enough because people at the top, they got there typically because of their job skills. They're good at what they do, so they get promoted. But oftentimes, those same people do not have the strongest people skills. So I am generally brought in to help people become more self aware so that they can lead more effectively. And in that self awareness, they're really able to look at themselves and determine where am I now and where do I need to be? What sort of team do I want to lead? What sort of leader do I want to be? Right. And so I tend to work with them on how to build trust with themselves first, so that they can create space for trust with other people. That usually comes from creating safe spaces. Funny enough, so many leaders really do not get the concept of a safe space. But when you create that safe space, your people will come to you with more to celebrate, as well as more of the things they might have made mistakes on, and they'll own it faster if they know that they can come to you because you have created that safe space and that trust. So that's like the fundamental basics of a lot of what I do with leaders. because you kind of have to go back to that when you think about, how to strategize with your team or how to communicate difficult things to your team. It still goes back to, did you create a safe space? Do they trust you? Do you trust yourself in this process? So I've been doing this work a long time, and granted, it all looks different depending on where I am. But ultimately, whether it's one-on-one or group work, I get to go on a journey with people. And I love what I do because I get to apply it in my own life. Truth be told, I get to apply it on myself, and I get to take it home and practice with my husband and my kids. And that makes it fun. And it honestly makes it more real because it's applicable, right? It's not just for work. Stuff like that is just as applicable in real life.
That is so amazing. And I can definitely testify to what Trisha is talking about. I was blessed enough to be coached by her some years back in leadership.
That's right.
And I was amazed at how much she focused on me when I'm thinking I needed to, I wanted to be a better manager to other people. But she was like, nope, first you have to be a better manager to yourself. So,
yep. Yeah, it starts within, right? And then you can lead other people more effectively, right? Because you want them to want to follow you. You don't want to force people to follow you. That's short-lived. I've seen it. I've lived it. It is always short-lived. It does not last long if you force the hand. People will leave. They will report you. One day they might tell you off. I mean, all kinds of things. Or honestly, the flip side, you have depressed people. You have morale being low. You have people that don't want to come to work, who call out sick, right? And so I make it very real when I work with leaders one-on-one or in groups. I will call out that pink elephant in the room.
Wow.
Because that's what I'm supposed to do.
And how were you led to this type of work, Trisha?
I used to do generalist work as a human resources senior associate a long time ago at one of the professional services firms. And I realized the two areas I really liked of HR was hiring people and developing people. Okay. And so this was, I went to my husband's holiday party almost 20 years ago now. And I met this incredible woman who, by the way, had sister locks just like you. And she knew Andre, and we struck up this conversation. And she was like, I told her what I wanted to do, especially because I was traveling a good hour to work because we had moved. Andre and I had just bought our first house. She was like, I like you. And I'm going to refer you because I know the head of that department. She goes, and I don't refer people, not even my own family. There are people in my own family I would never refer, but I like you. I like our conversation we've had. And I kid you not, ladies, I had a job offer in 2 weeks, and that started my journey.
Wow.
That started my journey. And every opportunity I've had has been through people that know me, know my work, that like me enough to say, either I'm going to refer you or come work with me. So I've been really blessed. Really, really blessed.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Yeah. And so what would you say are some of your biggest obstacles or challenges you've overcome in this industry?
Ooh, that's a great question, Felina. Challenges and obstacles. I think sometimes egos can get in the way. Sometimes. For the most part, no. But sometimes people don't want to face the truth of what is. So it's easier to mask and hide until they can't. And my thing is, I am always here to support and not judge, but say as a coach, I've only had one person I've ever had to say, I don't think this is working out. And that's only because that individual wasn't doing the work that was agreed to, that they said they would do. And so for the most part, that's probably one of the challenges. Or there are people who, they don't have the ego, but they don't have the courage to deal with the harder issues. And I'm probably that really more than anything else, is that they're good leaders, but when it comes to the hard conversations, they don't want to have it. They might want to hope that it will just go away on its own. If I wait long enough, this person's going to turn around in their behavior. They usually don't. And then they have to learn how to have the difficult conversations, how to specifically focus on the situation or the issue rather than the individual, so that that individual's defense mechanisms don't come up and push them away or shut down. So it's really helping and practicing having those sort of conversations so that leader feels confident enough to have it. And you'd be surprised how many leaders do not feel comfortable having hard conversations. They would just rather hope this person's behavior will go away or the person will go away.
Right?
Yes.
That's very interesting, because on the outside, we see that they have it all together, but
Yes. No, they're human, just like all of us, right? And some of us love doing the work we do, but we don't want to deal with the hard stuff.
that's deep. So
Yeah.
Trisha, what keeps you going?
Ooh, just broadly like that. What keeps me going? Waking up every day and being grateful for waking up and thanking God for another day to see life, you know, because I realized I can't remember the number, but it's a fairly high number of people that do not wake up the next day. And I didn't know how high it was until I learned it. And truth be told, the chairman and CEO of the organization I work for passed away in his sleep a little over a year ago at 60 years old. That was really hard because we loved him. Everybody loved him. And so just waking up, looking at my family, my beautiful family that I have, a husband who wants to do everything for me, but sometimes I'm like, I got to do it myself because what if, you know, one day I have to do it and you're not here. So, you know, grateful for him being willing to, he is truly a man of service. And our daughter is the same way. They like helping people. That's just the gift that God gave them. Looking at my son and realizing that's my mini me in boy form and acknowledging it for what it is, you know. And honestly, I have loved being home with my family during COVID because I get to spend more time with them than I ever have. They're old enough because they're teenagers, so they get to focus on school. My husband and I are both working remotely. Everybody's got their own space in the house to work. And I'm grateful because the two of them have been doing well in school. Our son's even doing better than he was before. It's what he wanted for years. He would be asking me to homeschool him. And I was like, I work full time. I cannot homeschool you. And now this is the closest thing, right? Online learning at home. He's doing better. And when I asked him, he's like, because there's no noise in the class. There are no disruptions. Nobody's sneezing like out in the open to freak him out because he's a bit of a germaphobe. So, you know, those sort of things. And getting outside, bike riding, walking, going down to the beach. We love getting lost in our family. We get in the car and we just go. We'll be gone for like an hour and a half, find a new road to go down, finding country roads and seeing these majestic mountains, finding our way to the ocean. Don't know how we got there. It's just really, really nice. And, you know, remaining connected, finding new ways like Zoom. Thanks to Monickie, I get to see my girlfriends once a month, hopefully, you know, and we get to catch up or just being able to connect, because I realize when I go too many days without connecting with people, I do feel it. Like I feel that lack of connection because I know we are designed to be in a social setting. So that's a long-winded answer. Feel free to edit.
That was a beautiful answer. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Trisha, there's a person listening right now who's lacking the courage to move forward in their life or just to work on becoming the better version of themselves. What words of wisdom can you share for them?
Don't be afraid to fail. That is part of our growth. So, you know, if you're lacking courage because maybe you feel like you really want to land on your feet as opposed to your face, right? Recognizing that all the great people that we know of, they failed at some point and they got up and they kept pushing forward until they made their dream come true. And, you know, and those are real things for me. Those are real for my kids, because we don't always land on our feet and our ego tells us we want to, right? Because we don't want to deal with the bruised ego. But the reality is it's just a part of life. I learned a phrase a couple years ago, fail forward, right? So you're going to fail, you're going to keep going forward, not turn back to where you're comfortable, right? Because where you're comfortable is where you were restless to begin with. So you know you've got to push forward in order to get to that next level. So hopefully that could help someone.
Absolutely. Well, it surely has been a pleasure to learn more of your passion. If you would, please share with our listeners how they can find you online.
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn. So you can just look me up easily, Trisha Mason Parsad. I'm on LinkedIn, and you can email me through there. You can reach out through me through my phone number. I am happy to connect with anyone who wants to have a conversation about anything, or email or text or whatnot. I'm always happy to connect with people. So thank you, ladies, for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you for listening to us and joining us on this 5-star day. We believe in you, and we believe that you are going to have a more 5-star life starting right now.
Yes. We know you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be right here with us. So for that, we thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on Facebook at 5-Star Living Show and joining the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle. Remember to laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by Flossie Flicks Photography, Monickie.com, Flossie Locks, and Meditate with Mo. Until next time, keep 5-star living.
And show us some love by subscribing on YouTube. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.